It started with a whisper, then a stare, and finally a scream that stopped the entire set. YandySmith.com, composed, always the one holding everything together, broke down completely. And it wasn't just a few tears, it was a full emotional collapse, right there in front of the cast, the crew, and the cameras. Production was halted for 3 days. Now, insiders are revealing what really happened behind the scenes. The names at the center of the storm: Rasheeda and Jessica, two women Yandy once called her sisters. According to multiple on-set sources, they didn't just expose her personal business, they turned her pain into a storyline. And that betrayal sent Yandy over the edge. But the question everyone's asking is, what happened in that dressing room that made Yandy drop her mic, collapse to the floor, and whisper, "You were never my friends"? We've seen the deleted posts, we've heard the leaked audio, and there's already talk of a revenge plan in motion. Yandy Smith had always kept her distance from drama. She was the polished executive, the peacemaker, the one who stayed above it all. But behind the scenes, that calm was survival mode, and Rasheeda and Jessica. They had been slowly breaking her down for years. It started like any close industry. Bond, Yandy, and Rasheeda first connected at an off-season mixer in Atlanta. Both were mothers, both entrepreneurs, and both tired of the fake energy in the industry. Jessica Dime came into the picture later, flashy and wild, but grounded when it counted. Yandy trusted her, even defended her publicly after the infamous 2023 hotel incident where Jessica allegedly threw a bottle at production. "I saw her pain," Yandy once said on camera. She stood by her. But behind the scenes, it turns out Jessica and Rasheeda had other plans. The first red flag appeared in early 2024, when Yandy launched her wellness and beauty brand. It was quiet, elegant, and all about self-care. Then suddenly, Rasheeda dropped her own skincare line with packaging that looked suspiciously similar. Fans noticed. Yandy didn't say anything publicly, simply saying during an IG live, "The industry is big enough for all of us." But insiders say she cried after that live. She hadn't been told. She found out from a blog post. Then came Jessica's shady comments. In a podcast interview mid-2024, she said, "Some women pretend to be about peace but be the biggest haters behind closed doors." She didn't name Yandy directly, but when asked, "Are you still close with her?" she responded, "Let's just say we ain't as close as people think." Yandy stayed silent, trying to hold the sisterhood together, but that silence only made her more of a target. Then the group chat leak happened. An anonymous account dropped screenshots from a group chat between Jessica, Rasheeda, and a few other cast members. In one alleged message, Rasheeda wrote, "Yandy, fake zen, let her cry on IG again. We'll keep getting booked." Another from Jessica read, "If she don't show up next week, I'm taking her mic. I'm tired of her healing queen act." And Yandy had no idea. Producers, sensing a viral TV moment, scheduled a healing dinner scene. Yandy showed up thinking it was a bonding moment with her girls, but it was an ambush. Jessica accused her of being controlling. Rasheeda said she built her brand off of pain that didn't even belong to her anymore. Then another cast member chimed in, "You market trauma like it's a lip gloss, Yandy." She was blindsided. A witness said Yandy started shaking. She reached for water, trying to steady herself, and then said, "This is what you've been thinking this whole time." Jessica snapped back, "You've been profiting off healing while ignoring your own mess." That was the breaking point. Yandy stood up, threw down her mic, and said, "You were never my friends." Then she collapsed in the corner, sobbing uncontrollably. Filming stopped. Paramedics were called, not because of injury, but because she was hyperventilating from emotional shock. As footage of her breakdown leaked online, the internet mourned with her. But when her husband, Mendices, saw the clip, he didn't cry. He went to war at 2:47 a.m. Mendices posted a photo of Yandy holding their daughter, with the caption, "Say whatever you want about my wife. Just know there's a price for disrespect, and the bill's overdue." Then came his Instagram, live titled, "I ain't a cast member, I'm her husband," in a 14-minute emotional takedown. He said it all. "Y'all clown her for healing while you hide behind hairlines and hit songs. My wife ain't fake. She's faithful. Faithful to friends, who played her like a storyline." He didn't name names. He didn't have to. The audience knew. Comment sections exploded. That Rasheeda shade was loud. Jessica Dime better stay quiet unless she's got armor on. Finally, Yandy broke her silence with a voice note. Just 48 hours after her collapse, she posted an audio clip. No visuals, no music, just her voice. Her voice. Tired, raw, and trembling. I spent so long protecting people who would never protect me. I excused shade. I forgave lies. I let fake love into my life, thinking maybe they'd learn to love me for real. She paused. Then came the heartbreak. But that room. That ambush. That wasn't drama. That was betrayal. She ended the voice note with, "Some people never plan to walk with you. They were just waiting to push you off your path." Fans lost it. The phrase "we love you," Yandy trended globally. Yandy hit number 3 worldwide on Twitter. Support poured in from all over the industry. Tamar Braxton tweeted, "That woman held us down for years. Give her her peace." Cynthia Bailey added, "Healing doesn't mean weak. It means human." But just when it seemed the storm might pass, a second group chat leaked. And this time, it wasn't just shady cast members. A producer was in it. A rogue assistant leaked screenshots showing producers were actively part of the setup. One message from a producer read, "Let them air it all out at dinner. That breakdown might be Emmy-worthy." Another allegedly from Jessica read, "If she cries, we go viral. If she walks out, we still win. No losing here." But the worst one came from Rasheeda. "She needs to be humbled. She don't cry enough on camera." This wasn't just a heated fight. It was a scripted takedown, and Yandy had no idea then. Mendices returned to Instagram with a black screen and a chilling caption, "I got lawyers, footage, and facts. Next time y'all try to script a breakdown, better hope you don't get exposed in 4K. The pressure hit the network hard. By the next day, reports confirmed that a key producer had been suspended. Internal teams requested all raw footage from that dinner scene. Lawsuit rumors began circulating. Jessica Dime, realizing things were spiraling, went live. Glass of wine in hand, wig freshly laid. She said, "It wasn't that deep. We were filming a scene. I thought we were just being real. If she felt ambushed, I apologize." But the internet wasn't having it. Top comment, "You laughed when she cried. That ain't sisterhood." Another, "Apologize after the ratings come in. Nah, keep it." Then Reddit did what Reddit does best. Users uncovered that the same producer from the group chat had worked on 3 Yandy-heavy episodes. That same producer was also connected to Rasheeda's music licensing deal with the network. Photos emerged of Jessica and Rasheeda at a private post-rap dinner. Without Yandy. Fan theory exploded. They didn't want to compete with Yandy's piece, so they destroyed it. And just as the internet was reeling from Yandy's emotional voice note, Tamar Braxton stepped in. And she did not hold back. She dropped a 7-post thread titled, "I've been quiet, but enough is enough." In it, she exposed the performative sisterhood that's poisoned reality TV for years. She called out Rasheeda and Jessica by name. "You don't uplift another black woman by stripping her dignity for a storyline. Yandy's been solid to solid, and y'all tried to break her on purpose." She added, "That dinner was staged. I heard from one of the stylists, Yandy didn't know. And what y'all did in that dressing room after. Unspeakable." Then, the dressing room audio leaked boast by a burner Twitter account called @Spiltacene. The clip was just 30 seconds, but it was enough. The audio begins with Yandy sobbing. Not quiet tears, deep shaking sobs. Then comes Rasheeda's voice. Cold, cutting. She always acts like she's above the mess. Look at her now. Jessica laughs. This, the content producers wanted. I told y'all she'd fold. Then silence. A door shuts. They left her crying alone, and then, the photos surfaced. Screenshots showed Yandy in that same dressing room, hunched over, makeup ruined. Mascara streaked down her face. In one photo, she's whispering into her phone, "Can't believe this is happening." The image went viral. Fans reposted it with the caption, "She protected everyone, and no one protected her." Then, of course, Kirk Frost jumped in to defend Rasheeda, and it backfired hard. On IG Live, he said, "People always paint my wife as the villain. This is reality TV, not therapy." The comments. Brutal. Your wife bullied a friend into a breakdown. That's not real. That's cruel. Didn't you cheat on her with a stripper and expect forgiveness? Sit this one out. Hashtag, shut up Kirk started trending. Then came the most unexpected twist. Erica Mena, who hadn't spoken about Yandy in 3 years, posted a cryptic message. "I warned her. I told her they'd flip. But Yandy believes in people more than they deserve." She then went live and said, "You wanna know why they hate her? Because Yandy don't need mess to shine." they need drama. She is the storyline. She ended with a warning: if they let that dressing room audio air, that show's done. Chaos behind the cameras. The dinner scene that could destroy VH1's biggest franchisette was supposed to be the highlight of the season. High-stakes reunion dinner where truths would be aired, tears would fall, and reality TV gold would be captured. But instead, panic has gripped VH1. Behind the scenes of the network's flagship franchise, the fallout from a single dinner scene has escalated into what some insiders are calling the most explosive internal scandal in the show's history. Two producers are now under active internal review. Major cast members are threatening to walk. Sponsors are reportedly concerned, and legal teams are circling. The reality TV universe may thrive on chaos, but this time, the chaos has spilled far beyond the camera lens. It all started with that scene. According to multiple sources close to production, the now infamous dinner scene was never meant to go that far. Shot inside a luxury Atlanta estate just outside the city, the episode was planned as a dramatic group sit-down, with the cast encouraged to clear the air following weeks of escalating feuds. But what actually happened has left a crater. Jessica, Dime, known for her fire and flair, was allegedly set up by production to confront Yandy Smith Harris over a deeply personal issue involving family, finances, and off-camera accusations. What Dime didn't know, however, was that the producers had been feeding false narratives to both women, separately escalating the tension off-screen before pushing them into a confrontation that quickly spiraled. According to a cast member who witnessed the confrontation, it wasn't just messy TV, it was manipulation. The cameras weren't just there to film drama, they helped create it. They knew what they were doing. The result: Yandy stormed off the set mid-shoot. Jessica allegedly threw a drink, and security had to physically separate two crew members from each other. But the real drama didn't start until after the footage was reviewed. The fallout hits fast within days of the shoot. VH1's legal department was contacted by Yandy's representatives. The complaint was formal. They alleged unethical production behavior, defamation, and emotional manipulation. The most serious allegation: that producers fed a fabricated rumor to stir the pot, one that implicated Yandy's parenting and falsely suggested financial misdeeds involving her non-profit organization. That crossed a line. Her team responded swiftly, issuing a demand, a public on-air apology, or she walks permanently. And Yandy isn't just any cast member. She's a pillar of the franchise, a businesswoman, activist, and long-standing fan favorite whose presence adds legitimacy and balance to the show's otherwise volatile chemistry. Her exit wouldn't just leave a gap, it could cause a chain reaction. She's not bluffing, says one insider. And if she leaves, don't be surprised if a handful of others walk right behind her. There's been tension simmering for seasons. This could be the spark. The network's panic. Button VH1's top brass has reportedly gone into crisis mode. Two producers, both veterans of the franchise, have been placed under review. One, according to sources, may be terminated pending the outcome of an investigation into coercive off-camera tactics used during production. Internal memos have also gone out reminding all staff of ethical boundaries and talent protections during filming. The network is also considering pulling the entire dinner scene from airing. Editors were initially told to cut it for drama, but now they've been told to bury it unless cleared by legal. There's even quiet talk of restructuring the season finale to reframe the narrative. Meanwhile, Jessica Dime has been asked to step back from all press events. She has yet to issue a public statement, but those close to her say she feels betrayed, and not just by producers. She was told Yandy was coming for her, says a source close to Dime, that she needed to defend herself. They played on real history between those two, and it got dangerous. Franchise on the brink. This isn't just a bad week for the show, could be a turning point for the franchise. For years, VH1's flagship reality shows have walked the tightrope between entertainment and exploitation. Cast members are often encouraged to bring their real lives into the spotlight, but the boundaries between real life and production have grown increasingly blurred and dangerously volatile. Now, with sponsors allegedly reevaluating future partnerships and public scrutiny at an all-time high, the question looms: how much longer can the franchise survive without serious reform? There are whispers inside the network that executive leadership is considering bringing in outside consultants to overhaul production ethics, especially when dealing with storylines that touch on mental health, family, or criminal allegations. There's even talk of creating a new cast protection clause that would limit how much information producers can feed to cast members. Off camera, essentially putting an end to the tactic of fueling real-life fights with whispered lies. But some insiders say it might be too late. "The trust is gone," said one former producer, who left the franchise last year. "These women aren't just cast, they're real people. You can only push so far before someone breaks." What happens next? For now, VH1 remains tight-lipped. Officially, they've issued a brief statement. "We take the well-being of our cast and production teams seriously and are reviewing recent concerns thoroughly. We remain committed to ethical storytelling and respectful collaboration." But behind the scenes, contingency plans are being drafted. Editors are scrambling. PR teams are crafting talking points. And reunion special plans have been put on ice, pending whether the cast will even return, because if Yandy walks, if Dime speaks out, if footage leaks, the empire could crumble, and the network that once celebrated the raw, unfiltered chaos of love and hip-hop may be forced to reckon with a truth even messier than what's aired on screen. Some reality was never meant to be exploited. Finally, a TikTok theory, and it hit hard. A user from @MessyBenyor laid it all out. This wasn't just mean girl energy. It was a calculated takedown of the only cast member with real legacy power. Why? Because Yandy was in talks for a spin-off, a show centered on black female entrepreneurs and healing. Jessica, Rasheeda, and the producer now under review. All allegedly knew. They wanted to cut her down before the pitch could rise, and it worked. Yandy went silent for a moment. But before disappearing, she posted one final message, ... meeting it was a smoking gun, in the audio timestamped just days before filming the infamous dinner. A senior producer can be heard laying out the exact scene they wanted. The voices are clear. Producer 1: "We need a breakdown moment. Something that feels real but delivers drama." Yandy's too polished, break that. Producer 2: "She trusts Rasheeda. Use that. Have Jessica poke at the healing stuff. Make her look performative. She snap eventually." Laughter. Then someone says, "If she walks out in tears, we promo it as Yandy's truth unraveled. If she claps back, even better. Either way, we win." It wasn't strategy. It was sabotage. The file spread like wildfire. Downloads mirrored. Clips reposted. Fans clipped the worst 15 seconds and turned it into a battle cry. Hashtag she was the storyline. Hashtag YAND. I deserved better. That leak changed everything. By sunrise the next day, 3 major sponsors had pulled funding from the show. VH1 released a statement, but it felt cold, corporate, rehearsed. "We are committed to fostering a respectful production environment. We are reviewing internal processes and ensuring our cast and crew are heard." No names, no real accountability. But the damage was done. Yandy's silence became her loudest statement. No more lives, no more posts, no teasers. Just that photo, her and her daughter, hand in hand, walking toward the water. Caption: "Peace over platform. Truth over exposure. Healing doesn't need a mic." And the world felt it. This wasn't about reality TV anymore. It became a case study in what happens when you push a good woman too far. You strip her story for ratings. You twist her healing into performance. You build entire seasons around her light, and then resent her when she won't dim. But she didn't break, she broke free. And with every unfollow, every lost deal, every exposed lie, the empire they built on her back cracked. And the final tweet that summarized the entire internet's mood. They tried to destroy her with the same cameras that made her. Instead, they exposed themselves. Yandy walked away with her dignity. And they're left with a storyline no one wants to watch. Mic dropped. Roll credits. This is TV history in the making, not because of the drama, but because of the reckoning. Let's be clear, this isn't just about Yandy anymore. This is about the machine behind reality TV, the one that rewards pain, that scripts humiliation, that builds empire off the backs of black women's breakdowns, then calls it entertainment. So let's break down what this means. 1. The audio was the smoking gun. It's not bullying if it boosts the ratings. That one line will haunt the entire reality TV industry. This wasn't passive drama. It was intentional sabotage. Emotional harm, engineered for profit. 2. Yandy has a legal case, and it's solid. Verifiable audio. Emotional manipulation, collusion by cast and producers. Potential defamation and mental health damages. If this makes it to court, the franchise could crumble. Why? Because court doesn't allow editing. 3 VH1 is in panic mode, sponsors dropping, promos pulled, emergency board meetings. Executive producer, Mona Scott Young under fire. The franchise might not survive this. And if Peace Ain't Pretty becomes real, it might replace it. And let's not ignore the symbolism: that final photo, rooftop, sunset, contract in hand, shirt that reads, "Healed women are the scariest." Yandy's not fighting back with fire. She's building something better. Not just a show, a platform, for truth, for healing, for power without pain. Now it's your turn. Real talk, should Yandy sue and shut this whole circus down? Can Rasheeda and Jessica come back from this, or are they done? If Peace Ain't Pretty drops, will you watch? What does this mean for how we consume reality moving forward? Drop your take, because this isn't gossip anymore, it's a cultural shift. No more weaponized wellness. No more trauma for clout. No more painting breakdowns as character flaws. This is the rise of boundaried storytelling. Of healed women saying no more. Of peace being louder than pain. Like, share, subscribe, because the next time Yandy speaks, it won't be for views, it'll be for legacy. And trust, this is just the beginning. Asterisk.